More than just a touch? Jungkook's finger movement on Tae's arm catches fans' eyes, almost turning into hand-holding. There are moments between Jungkook and Taehyung that don't require a long conversation to grab fans' immediate attention. Sometimes, a single small movement is enough to draw every eye toward them. One such moment occurred when Jungkook's hand was near Taehyung's arm. His fingers moved slowly along the arm, tracing a path downward toward the hand. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary touch, but look closer, and the movement feels incredibly gentle and natural. It even gives the impression that the gesture was on the verge of becoming hand-holding before the situation shifted. And naturally, that's where fans started to wonder, was this really just an ordinary touch? That question arises because the way Jungkook executed the movement differed from a spontaneous touch. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't like a quick pat. His fingers seemed to follow the line of the arm, moving down until they were close to Taehyung's hand. For some fans, a tiny detail like this is far more intriguing than grander gestures. When a small touch speaks volumes, body language is often fascinating to observe. A person might not say a word, yet their posture, gaze, hand movements, and spontaneous reactions can convey a specific impression. In this moment, fans' attention was drawn to Jungkook's hand. It started as a simple touch. Then, his fingers began to move slowly. They traced a path down from Taehyung's arm, moving closer and closer to the hand. At one point, it looked as though the movement was about to turn into more distinct hand-to-hand contact. For Taekook fans, a scene like this is naturally captivating, especially when compared to the gestures people usually make when joking around with friends. A pat on the shoulder is typically brief. A tap on the arm is usually quick. But in this particular moment, the movement appeared gentle and fluid. That is what makes so many people watch it over and over again. Reflex or intentional. One of the things that makes the moment intriguing is the question regarding the true intent behind the movement. Did Jungkook intentionally move his finger toward Taehyung's hand? Or was it merely a reflex caused by their close proximity? Of course, we cannot know what is going on in someone's mind just by watching a recording. However, from the viewer's perspective, the movement was distinct enough to make people pause and take notice. Jungkook's finger appeared to trace along Taehyung's arm, slowly, then moving further down, until it neared his hand. And precisely because the movement didn't seem rushed, fans began to perceive a sense of tenderness in the interaction. To some, this was simply body language between two close friends. To others, the moment appeared far more intimate than a typical friendly interaction. It is this difference in interpretation that turned a short video clip into a subject of lengthy discussion, almost turning into hand-holding. The part that drew the most attention was, of course, when Jungkook's hand moved toward Taehyung's. It gave the impression that the movement was on the verge of becoming a handhold. However, the moment passed very quickly. There was no prolonged holding of hands. There was no dramatic scene. Yet, it was that very sense of almost that piqued fans' curiosity. After all, something that almost happens often sparks more wonder than something that actually does. Fans began slowing down the video. Some even zoomed in on their hands. They examined it frame by frame. The movement of the finger became the focal point. And the closer they looked, the more small details became apparent. It wasn't just the position of Jungkook's hand, but also how Taehyung responded to Jungkook's presence nearby. Why did that finger movement feel different? There is a distinction between simply touching someone and tracing or stroking a part of their body with a slower movement. A brief touch usually has a clear beginning and end. For instance, patting a friend on the shoulder. A hand touches a shoulder, then it immediately pulls away. That's it. But when a finger moves along the arm, the action feels more continuous. That is what drew extra attention from fans to the moment. It didn't look like Jungkook simply touched Taehyung's arm and then stopped.